experience of being ill, because sometimes people have incredible spiritual awakenings from being ill. I had one, and I was very sick at one point. I couldn't walk. I was crawling on the ground. I couldn't open bottles and all sorts of things. But through going through establishing myself to source, I found out the true meaning of that illness. And then through other people that I found that I started working with, it kind of made my path go in a certain way that I wouldn't normally have gone. So an illness can actually be a blessing, which just seems strange, but I mean, so many things happened to me from that illness that my spiritual intuition developed more. I started listening to Spirit. Spirit, what am I doing wrong? What do I need to find out? And start establishing that connection. You obviously have to do something different if you want to transcend where you're at. Like if you want to walk on water like Jesus, can you do it now the way you are? Do you believe it? Can you manifest that? So you have to step outside of who you are to achieve whatever the next step is. So you're always up against wherever you think you are and wherever you find yourself. And so in spiritual, being able to evolve spiritually, you always have to give up something and become something greater. And that's kind of the whole thing about illness and healing. You have to be willing to kind of let go of something you have. It could be a belief system. It could be a way of doing things. It could be a way of seeing things. It could be the way you hold your emotions. And you need to step into the next order of things. And there's several ways to do that. One is you find a teacher, like I have this Taoist master that I work with and a Tibetan master, and he is so high as a person. I mean, he just blows my mind. And so I kind of hang around him to vicariously absorb some of his energy. But also, he has ways of seeing things that I don't quite understand yet. And vice versa. I have things that other people don't understand. We're all in it together. And there might be some farmer, you're walking down the street and they see something that you don't see. And if you ask Spirit with true sincerity, somehow synchronistically, Spirit will bring those things you need for you to develop and for you to move to the next level. Unless it's your time, of course, and then it just is. But otherwise, it's like we really have the opportunity to learn. We really have the opportunity to grow. And what I found in all this, getting through all this, it requires a great deal of trust. A trust that the universe will come through for you somehow, even at your darkest hour. I mean, I was not functioning very well. I mean, this was 4 years. I stayed 4 years in solitude. And in that 4 years in solitude, so many things were happening that, and being so sick and everything. But what happened is I had this spontaneous Kundalini Awakening in that. I couldn't have predicted. I wasn't trying to do breath exercises to make it happen or anything. I started working with Buddhist masters, and they were amazing. Just being in their lineage, some of the disease things would just go away because there was such an energy with working with them. And I think that a lot of us have the opportunity to do it ourselves and go inward and utilize all the help we can get. So sometimes it's our time to go inward and just do it ourselves, and sometimes we find somebody to help us, and then sometimes we go back to doing our own thing again. And it's kind of a balance because there's so many people to help us. Like you guys go to school, right? And so your teachers know in certain ways, maybe more than you, and in certain ways you know more than them. Because maybe they're older and behind the times, and maybe you're a little more awake than they are. And you have the ability to help them too. So it's not just they know everything. And then there's things inside you, like if you check your intuition, like you'll have a gut feeling, or, some people have gut feelings. Some people just know, right? Some people just have a hunch, or I had a feeling that was going to happen. The more you follow those things, you get more accurate. If you just have a feeling like, I should go do this. Like I went to the store, I don't know why I'm going to the store, I don't need anything. I just have this feeling. And then I met this person that I hadn't seen and I needed to see him. Things like that are magical. But inside you, there's this connection to spirit, and that will guide you the more you listen to it. And it could be your own way, whatever works for you, whatever feels right. So with healing, to me, the most important thing is surrender. Because you're going to have to surrender who you think you are and who you are now to become who you really are. So let me give you an example. Let's say you believe that you're clumsy, or it could be anything. And everybody else looking at you has a different point of view about you. So some people think you're not clumsy, some people think you're graceful, some people, because you're more graceful than them. So all these opinions are happening. Now, who's right? They're all right simultaneously, but they're opinions in the mind, and there's something way bigger than the mind that's happening. So in a way, nobody's right too. So if you take all those opinions simultaneously, who are you really? Really, when you think of enlightenment and everything, we're really beyond thought, because we're actually in a being state right now. So what happens is, with sound healing, is you go into this thing called parasympathetic mode, where you go in, your heart rate slows and you relax. Every time you relax, you actually go into healing mode more than if you're tense, worried, or you're thinking. Because when you're thinking, you're generating the same patternistic energy. But if you want to heal, you have to kind of let go to the mystery of what is possible beyond what you think and what you feel. So a lot of these people that just have healings, suddenly they just know, oh, I'm just going to heal. And then they kind of surrender to the energy or to a greater thing than themselves, because they have to become greater or different to become healed. Especially like things that we think are hardcore, Because there's so much of a pattern, we think about it, oh my God, cancer, oh my God, this or that. We hold so much energy around that rather than, oh, it's just easy, it heals just like my hand when I get a cut. But if we all believed that, maybe it would start shifting so it healed that fast. But it's getting from one belief system and slowly letting that go so you can get to the other place, and then having that actually take place in the body. So whenever you go to hang out with somebody that can prove that to you, or somebody that betters you as far as they're more evolved, you're sort of trying to step into their resonance or get their understanding in some sort of way. Hello. So when we're here, we have the opportunity to just kind of try things, even have fun, kind of try things and not worry about whether they're going to work or not really, but just have the intention of really connecting to spirit and connecting to letting go into a greater ourselves, kind of letting go into the divine mystery and trusting and relaxing into the parasympathetic, which is kind of like our dream state. When you're kind of relaxed, that's when healing can take place a lot easier. So that's why when you're meditating, like monks that meditate, like the Dalai Lama and stuff, they can heal from things really quickly a lot of times. And that doesn't mean they're always going to heal, like I said, but there is more of an opportunity to heal if you allow yourself to be more than you imagine yourself to be. So what we were saying is, like, let's say you want to heal and you want to be like Jesus and walk on water. Well, then you have to be somebody other than you think you are at the time. And you have to let go of who you think you are and trust the universe by asking the universe to bring you a way to step into your higher mode. And you have to let go of that. And sound helps get you into a parasympathetic mode, which means a relaxed state. And they've found that when people relax, they heal 400 million times faster than if they don't. And it also allows you to start letting go of your belief systems and say, like Byron Katie, is that true? Is that necessarily true? Like, maybe we don't think we can fly, but maybe we can. Maybe we won't go that far, but maybe we can heal this slowly, or we can heal it quicker, or kind of entertaining the idea that something more than you've already experienced is possible. Anyway, does anyone have anything they'd like to say about that, or any questions, or anything that you've had an experience about where that made sense, where you kind of had to let... That's one more thing. Like, let's say you start a new job and you don't know how to do something. Well, you probably trust that eventually you can figure out like a new program on a computer or something. But if you didn't even have that trust and you just were paralyzed with fear and you never really tried or started or found anybody that could teach you the program or anything, or you didn't even read the manual or you didn't try anything, then you're probably not going to get very far. So this is like, there's a bunch of people out there that really can do a lot of different things, and they understand different things about the universe. So anybody have anything they want to say or ask, or... No? Not really? So I think that's always the bottom line. Embracing the possibility and then letting go to the universe. There's something that we do called matrix energetics, and at least we studied with Richard, and he has this whole philosophy that when you're doing some kind of thing on somebody, that you don't do it, the universe does it. Because how can you do it in the same pattern you're in and then change your pattern? You have to, like in quantum physics, it says that there are all these multiple possibilities, but you have to be able to step into the other possibility. So if you're coming from the same place, then you can't quite envision how you get the other place without the owner's manual or the teacher or something different. Try something. So when you do this and you do matrix, you basically tap into the source of existence, knowing that it can do way more than you could ever do. And then you do a little thing and you let go to that. And then it creates the healing. Because it is greater than the sum of your thinking about who you are. It knows it will take you into self-realization. It will take you into your higher potential. Call on it. Say, seriously, I really want to be the best person I can be. Seriously, I want to learn, and I am willing to learn. Seriously, I'm willing to learn from this experience. And then every experience, even illness, can be a blessing. Because it's gonna take you to the next level, because you wouldn't have gone to the next level possibly if you didn't have some crazy thing happen to you. You wouldn't even call it in. You'd just go on doing the same old thing, right? But then something comes and it's like a total disaster, you think, and you're like, oh my God, I've got to totally up-level myself. I've got to become this other thing. I've got to totally learn about healing, juice fasting, it could be anything. But you would never get that experience if that hadn't happened. You would possibly still learn, but not in the same way. And if you ask internally for the answer, you can start getting answers, even if they come different for you, or ask for signs outside yourself. And it starts with wanting to be clear and being connected to the source.